Hello everyone, it's me, Star, and welcome to part 2 of my low-poly PS1 Dusknoir Gijinka tutorial. In this part, we will be modeling our character. Now, getting started, again, it would be very helpful to have your reference on hand. So I've got mine right here. Now, as for navigating the Blender interface, you click and drag your middle mouse button to rotate around, shift and middle mouse button to pan around, and control and middle mouse button to zoom in, or simply use your scroll wheel. Now let's click on this right here. This is the default cube. It's a default object that Blender generates automatically when you open up the program. Now let's jump into this. Click on the default cube, hit tab to go into edit mode, and go ahead and click on this. This is edge select. Click on this edge right here. Right click and hit loop cut and slide. Then once you get a yellow line like that, click it and then right click so it's in the center. Hit 1 on your numpad. Click on this, which is toggle X-ray. Go into face select. Select half. Hit X. And then select faces. Now we can turn off X-ray. Hit tab again. Go into modifier properties. And add the mirror modifier. And make sure to select clipping. Okay, now with that done, go tab back into edit mode. Go back into edge select. Select this edge on the side here. And right click, loop cut and slide. And once again, get that nice and in the middle. Now let's hover over our cube. Hit L for linked, and then hit Shift and D to duplicate, and then just pull that down. This cube up here will be our chest, and this cube down here will be our pelvis. Okay, now let's get into shaping this. Okay. First things first, our character is kind of broad-shouldered, so let's drag this edge outward to widen the chest and shoulders. And now let's grab this edge right here and pull that up. And then grab this edge and push these inward to help round out the shape a little bit, and then hit the scale tool and then pull it in using the little green nubby and pull that in a little bit, and we're already getting a bit more of a upper torso shape. So let's grab this little vertice. That's what these little dots are. They're called vertices. Let's grab this little vertice up at the top and in the middle, and let's pull that up a little bit. Because the way that shoulders are shaped is that they do have somewhat of a slope to them. So we'll have that to sort of represent this slope. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and add a few loop cuts to the side. Now, to add, now let's go ahead and add maybe one right about here. Like one right about here, around where the armpit would be. And then have another one maybe right about there. Okay, let's pull in the waist a little bit, since I kind of want this character to kind of have a small, sort of have very like small hips and a larger chest, like broad shoulders and small hips. Okay. Okay. And now let's add a little bit more definition to the back. First, let's bring this one in a little bit. Then bring this vertice up some, and click on those two. Bring those up and inward a little bit. That in. Drag that in a little bit. So, because your back has a natural kind of curve to it. Have that for sort of like the natural curve of the back. And then bring that in, since... Okay. This one up. Put that one up. That one in a little bit. Now let's grab this face right here and extrude that outward. And we will shape her breasts. Now, what we'll want to do is pull this up and pull it outward, since breasts boobs are essentially bags of fat, so they sag. And since she's wearing a shirt, we should have it so that we should pull this part down and out a little bit to sort of, because shirts don't really like suction cup to your chest. They do kind of help form sort of like they do somewhat show the shape, but like it doesn't really suction cup in. And now let's pull these edges outward a little bit. Maybe pull this one in, this one out, and this one out. Keep messing around with it till we have a shape that we like. Okay, I kind of like that. Let's pull that one in a little bit, since I do kind of want her to have like small waist. And then pull that down so that her top won't just awkwardly separate from the rest of her body when I pose her. Now let's work on the pelvis. Okay, so first things first, we want to grab this, bring it up so that it connects to the torso, and then go into vertex select, hit X-ray again, so we can grab that one and pull that upward so it goes into the body, so that the pelvis doesn't awkwardly separate from the body when we pose her. Grab these two edges, pull those in, pull them in like that. Essentially what we want to do is we want to try to initially match the shape with the bottom of the chest. Since realistically this would essentially be sort of like, continue off of the bottom of her chest. Okay. And now let's add a loop cut right around here. Let's pull that out a little bit. Maybe pull it down some. To sort of start shaping her butt a little bit. Okay. Then we want to add another one, maybe around here. Sort of hit S to scale that out. Scale it back in. Oops. Let's grab our transform tool. Okay, and then grab this and then just form the bottom. Pull that up slightly so it has a slight V shape. Okay, I'm going to go back in X-ray mode and pull out the sides, the torso a little bit, since I do want her shoulders to be wider than her pelvis. Pull this one in a little bit more. Pull this vertex in. These and pull those out a little bit. Grab these faces, pull those up and out. These ones, pull them outward, and then maybe down a little bit. Okay. Feeling like her torso is a little bit short, so grab the upper half of her chest and pull that up. I'm gonna add another loop cut right here since I feel like the transition is a little bit awkward. add a loop cut right here. Add just a little bit more definition of her foot. Hold that one down a little bit. Another loop cut right here. Okay. That looks pretty decent. Now grab this vertice and then this one. I will put merge at last. This one and then this one. Do merge at last. This one and this one. Do merge at last. Merge at last. Merge at last. Since we don't really need the definition in the front, we just kind of needed it in the back. So we'll get rid of this extra geometry in the front to save polygons. Right. Maybe let's mid section a little bit wider. Alright, and now that we've gotten the torso done, let's make sure to save this. So we'll save it as Dusknoir. Save that. Okay. And add a cylinder. Click on this, the little add cylinder. Let's change that to 6 vertices. uncheck clipping real quick and pull that to the side. Now, let's make sure to grab the top face and the bottom face and hit poke faces. And then hover over it, select L for linked, Shift D to duplicate it, and drag that down. And we will use these to make the legs. Okay, so first things first, grab the top and the bottom, drag them out, then hover over it, L, pull it down, shape it till it looks appropriate. Okay. Go ahead and widen the bottom. So that the legs fit a little bit more organically. Make sure that the edges of the legs don't touch each other, because when you turn clipping on, it will fuse them together, and that is not good. Pull those up until they fit nicely into the torso. This vertice for the torso down so it can connect with the legs a little bit better. Okay, let's add another glue cut right around near the top of the legs and pull that out to help add a little bit more definition. Make sure that the legs aren't touching, because again, when you touch clipping, it will fuse. It will merge those vertices together, and that is not good. That is not a good thing. Okay. Now let's check against our reference. Legs should probably be a bit longer, like about there. Hover over the cylinder, hit L, duplicate it, and let's make the calves. Again, get the middle points, pull those out. And then adjust these until they look like lower legs. Bring in her butt a little bit. Let's turn on one thing that can be good for editing the proportions of the model is this little thing right here, proportional editing. Except for in this case, I want to select connected only, so that it only edits this area. Now you just middle mouse scroll right here, like to change the area of effect. I'll just pull that in a little bit. Pull that out. leg. Put that in. Shove that in. Clipping. Make sure it doesn't fall apart. And just kind of shape this until it looks appropriate. Okay. Okay, that looks good to me. I'll turn off proportional editing and grab the knees and push them slightly forward like that. Because when we do the IKs for the legs, the knee needs to be slightly bent. Otherwise the IK will not bend the leg properly. Okay. Now, for the calves, go ahead and add a loop cut right around here to add a little bit of definition. Alright. And now let's duplicate one more cylinder, and we will be making the feet. Out, and then squish this down, shrink it, get it so that it fits nice and neatly with the bottom of the leg. This up a little bit more. Okay, now go into face leg, grab these two faces right here. We'll extrude those down. Grab these two edges, pull them back, and pull them down slightly. Grab one of these edges, pull it back a little bit, and then maybe widen the feet a little bit. Okay. I want her body to kind of taper off, so I'll make her feet a little bit smaller. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that looks quite good. Okay, now for the arms. Oh, but make sure to save it, just in case Blender crashes. Blender is a good program, but it can still crash. It is not perfect. Okay, like the leg, pull those out. Now, for the length of the upper arm, a good rule of thumb is that generally the elbow rests at about the navel or belly button. So try to use that for gauging the length of the the upper arm, and then the upper arm and lower arm are around the same length. Oops. Now we can rotate this 90 degrees and put that into the shoulder. So I give her a big chest and wide shoulders because I kind of want her to have big arms and very large hands. Okay, so now we can duplicate this. Put that right about there. The wrist, taper down a little bit. Then we add a little bit of a bicep to the arm. And it's not entirely necessary if you don't plan on adding a case to the arms, but I do kind of like to have a little bit of a bend where the elbow is. Gotta make where the arm meets the shoulder a little bit bigger. Okay. Pull this out maybe a little bit more. Now let's make her cuffs or shackles. Rotate that 90 degrees so it will fit on her arm. Just kind of shrink it down. Okay, so that looks about good. Right, now let's just check to see if there's anything else we're going to need that cylinder for. She does have this antenna on her head, but it's in the middle of her head, so I'll just make a new cylinder for that one. Okay. So let's go ahead and use this last one for her hands. Scale this down a little bit so that it will fit. Okay, so for making hands, what I usually start out with is I'll grab this front face and pull it slightly forward. Then I'll grab one of these faces and pull it a little bit forward, and then I'll grab this edge and I pull that a little bit forward and maybe a little bit outward to sort of make sort of like a kind of like a vague hand shape. Then I'll grab this helicopter or plane passing over her head, and then Shift Alt and select this whole edge of faces and drag that down a little bit, and then shrink that inward. And you have a nice little, and then pull that back a little bit so that there's more sloping where the fingers are, and you have a nice little low poly hand type shape. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that back, and we will attach that where the wrist is. Our hands to be a little bit bigger, so we'll grab that, pull that outward. And there we go. Now she has big, chunky hands to punch people, as God intended. Well, I guess Arceus in this case. Okay, go ahead and save that out. Now let's go ahead and add her neck. Okay, so go ahead and make another cylinder. Put this one up. Once again, make sure to grab the top face, bottom face, hit poke faces, and then go to vertex select, grab those, pull them out, try to make the top, shrink that down a little bit to taper the neck a little bit, sort of shrink that down so that it fits onto the body. Okay. Alright, and now we will add her head. Now let's go ahead and grab a cube, bring this to the top, make sure to add a middle edge like that, like we did with the first cube, then go into front view, go to X-ray, delete these faces right here, otherwise there will be double faces on the head, and that is not good. That makes it very difficult to UV map, that makes it very difficult to edit, and it is hard to get rid of those, so just make sure to delete the other half of the faces when you're mirroring the model. Which reminds me, I need to delete these faces on this middle cylinder too, because again, otherwise, and if you want to check to make sure that there are no faces on this side, you can hit X-ray, and these little dots and the lines will indicate where there are faces. Well, actually, let me go ahead and first, actually, let me subdivide, because that will actually do it nicely. Then we delete the faces, because otherwise it will subdivide awkwardly. So make sure to select all those faces. Make sure clipping is on. And go into vertex. Select smooth vertices. Pull it like that. Okay. Now pull the head downward onto the neck. And then grab this vertice, pull that down, and we'll make a bit more of a head shape. Pull that in a little bit. Pull these two edges at the top of the head. And then try to round out these ones in the back of the head. Pull this forward a little bit. Okay, now grab these two faces and inset faces. Or no, instead grab these two faces, extrude, and then right click, and then scale to bring them downward, hold them inward, scale them down a little bit more, bring it into the middle of the face, pull it out a little bit, bring it downward a little bit, and we will use this to shape the nose. Have the nose start right around here. Okay, this point should be the middle of the nose where the nose kind of, well, the point where the nose kind of points outward. I don't know what it's called. And then pull this part up. This one. Sort of round out the bottom a little bit. Want her nose to be kind of wide. So like that. Maybe pull it down just a tad bit more. Good. I think that looks pretty good. Go ahead and save. Okay, and next we should add this little collar for her top. So for that we can go ahead and grab her neck. Maybe add a line right there. Grab those faces, extrude. First, let's this. Go ahead and grab the head and the torso. Hit H to hide those to make this a little bit easier. Check our reference. Yeah. The collar doesn't cover the front of her neck. So let's go ahead and grab that edge and dissolve edges to dissolve that edge. Then go to vertex select. Hit the K tool for knife. Then just grab that one and that one. And then enter to sort of even out this geometry so that this will still have, so that this front face will still be 4 faces. And then grab these 2 on the side. Hit extrude. Bring those outward. Then let's maybe pull those up like that, then outward like that, and then let's put Alt H to unhide everything. Drag that face down so it sits in the body, and that looks pretty good actually. Now let's maybe pull this up a little bit higher in the back so that it's not super even and it looks a little bit better that way. And let's pull it out a little bit more. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Save it once again. Now, let's go ahead and get a sphere. Hit UV sphere. Change segments and rings to both 6. Drag that up to right about where the head is. Scale it up so that it fits on the head. Pull it back a little bit. Now, go ahead and delete these faces and do something with this real quick. First, select this edge, then hit E, then just scale it down, and then now head to the front, do X-ray, and now let's delete this half of the faces, because otherwise getting grab it, because otherwise when you grab the inside edge it'll go all around this edge too, and it's a pain in the butt. It's a pain deep in my ass whenever I have to deal with that. Okay, so let's go ahead and add her bangs. So let's grab this face right here. Oops. Grab this face right here. Pull that out a little bit. Extrude. Wait. Do that. Alright, go ahead and extrude that down. Pull this edge. Okay. Mess around with this. Okay. Oh, accidentally. Okay. Make sure. Alright, now let's go ahead and delete the mirror modifier for a second. Extrude that outward because otherwise it extrudes it as a whole singular mass, and that's also a pain in my ass. Okay. So yeah, let's pull this downward. So exit out of edit mode. Then we can turn mirroring back on. Yeah, I don't know how to extrude it without it doing that, so I just turn off mirror mode to do that. Okay, so now let's add another part to our bangs. Grab this face, extrude it outward, grab that top face, delete that, grab this bottom face, extrude that down, widen it, pull it back. Now let's grab the edge, loop cut and slide. Grab this face, we'll grab this ring of edges, pull that back a little bit. Twist that around. Then extrude that forward. Crank that down a little bit. You can grab this edge, bring that up. This edge, bring that down a little bit. Bring that inward. That a little bit. So you're happy with the result. Okay, I like how that looks. Now let's grab that vertice, then that one, merge at last. Then grab this one, hiding inside the head, grab that one, and then merge at last. Okay. There. Okay, so that's bangs dealt with. Let's do the sides of the hair. It's to come this. Let's grab these two faces, extrude those, pull them up, crank them down, extrude it one more time, pull it up, go to vertex select, and merge at center. Pull that up a little bit, then mess around with this. Round this out a little bit. Okay. There we go. Let's go ahead and drag that one out a little bit to round the shape just a bit more. Okay. Alright. And now let's add the antenna. So we'll add one more cylinder. Pull that up. Grab the top face and the bottom face. Poke faces. X-ray mode. Go into front view. And delete half of it. Let's grab this. Shrink it down. Pull it in. Okay. Grab this top bit. Down. Shrink it inward a little bit. Extrude up. About that much. Go into face select. Grab all. Grab that ring of faces. Extrude. And then extrude this way as well. And then add a little bit more dimension. Grab these faces. Up a little bit. Grab this edge and shrink it in a little bit. And there we go. Well, one more thing for the chains coming off of her gloves. Go ahead and grab this bottom face. Hit inset. That down to a nice size. Extrude that down. And there you go. Okay. Let's go ahead and save that. I'll close the window. Okay. Now let's go into edge select mode. And select these edges. As well as these ones. Select those ones. And mark seam. Get these edges. Okay, and select those. Get these edges. Okay, on there. And get those faces along there. Grab these edges on the inside of the collar. These edges. These ones along the top. Like these. The bottom of the hand along the bottom of the arm. Those. Grab this edge on the shoulder. Grab those along the bottom of the chest and the bottom of and the top of the pelvis and on the bottom of the pelvis. Put seams on the back of the legs and on the bottom of the foot. Okay, and we'll see how that turned out. Make sure to have the whole go into X-ray mode, select the whole model, pull this thing up, select editor type, go to UV editor, click on UV, go to unwrap. Okay, there's a little bit thing going on with our UVs. Okay, so I'll grab those 3 edges and hit mark seam. Then we'll hit unwrap again, and we'll see if there are any other UVs that look like they have problems. Okay, so it seems to be everything. Throat was dry, so I took like a sip of my drink. Okay, so select this, hit grab, pull that to the side. Hover over that, hit L, and then grab. Bring that over here. Hit R to rotate it. And S to hit scale, and I like to, this is the face, but I like to scale it up to fit at least one of these little, like, square things. Okay. Then, didn't unselect that. Okay. believe that's part of the neck. We can actually check by hovering over that. Okay. So these are all parts of the neck. Like the whole model again. So I try to have because these pieces are called UV islands. So I try to have islands that belong to the same part together. And then I try to organize my UVs starting from the head and going downward. So next I'll grab the torso. And then the pelvis. Now grab. So these are one of the arms or the legs. I'll put it right around here. Oh, almost forgot one thing I want to do is it seems around these top bits, top and bottom bits of the arms and the legs. Okay, so grab all of those, mark seam, and then to make sure I know which parts. Like that. Gonna unwrap to do that, crank it down. Okay, pull that back up. This way it'll this way the texture will look more neat on the model. I can shrink these down since these are just end bits. Okay. Grab this there, that's the back of the head. Grab the hand. Put that maybe right about there. That's the hair, so I'll put that with the head right there. bottom of the hand. Put that with the top of the hand. That's the foot. Hi guys, Vegan Star from the future here, and I am a fool because this character's face is asymmetrical. She wears an eye patch, and I forgot to account for that when making her UV map. So let me go ahead and fix that real quick. Go ahead and I'll just grab the faces for her face and wrap that, bring it down, pull it to the side, and grab her entire UV map. And just adjust a few things to make room for it. Since I applied the mirror modifier for this character, the UVs are now doubled up, so I kind of have to drag and select them because hitting L for linked will only grab one of the UVs. Go ahead and shrink this down so it can fit in here. Kind of adjust that. Now, let's go ahead and turn on screencast keys so you all can see what keys I'm pressing. Okay. Now let's go ahead and re-export this. Right, and save that out. And now we can take it back to Vegan Star from the past. Alrighty then. So, should be the whole UV map. So let's export UV layout. I like to save out my texture images as a large resolution, so then that way I can have a nice high resolution texture. And if I want to have a more PS1 looking low resolution texture, it's easier to convert the higher resolution texture into a smaller, lower resolution than it is to convert a low resolution texture into a higher one. I'll call this Dusknoir text for texture and export UV layout. Okay, we can pull that one back down. Okay, go into front view, drag the whole model up while you still have it selected so that the feet are sitting on that red line. Otherwise, if you export it into any other programs, it'll look like your character is standing through the ground. You can turn off X-ray, can exit edit mode, and apply our mirror modifier. Make sure to apply the mirror modifier after you're done UVing. That is if you want your character's textures to be symmetrical. Otherwise, it will be harder to UV map the whole thing. And then hit Shade Smooth to make it look nice and smooth. And then we will save that out. And so that has been part 2 of my low poly PS1 style Dusknoir tutorial. Come back again in part 3 where we will be texturing this character. So that is all. Thank you very much for watching and have a nice day.